Hello, wonderful people. How you guys doing today? I trust you guys are doing super, super well. Okay. Now, still on the Royals and the ongoing in the Palace today. We are bringing a story that has to do with the Ooni of Ife, Queen Naomi, and the Deji of Akure. Okay. And the good news we are hearing is that at last, courtesy of the Deji of Akure, the Ooni of Ife has been able, for the first time in a long time, been able to speak to Queen Naomi. Wow, 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 wow. This is a big one because if what we are hearing is true, we understand that after the Ooni left uh, Akure, proceeded to Dubai, from Dubai back to Nigeria, coming back to Nigeria and meeting the avalanche of wahala upon wahala, I mean, it's a sharing news that eventually, he has been able to speak to Queen Naomi, and it's all courtesy of the Deji of Akure. Don't forget that Deji of Akure, I mean, is well revered, by all, especially the Akure people. And Queen Naomi and his siblings, his family, I mean, they revere this man a lot. I mean, so what we are hearing, if it is true, is that. Uh, because of the fact that Dione came back, he was so disillusioned. He was almost getting totally frustrated, and it was almost inconsolable at some stage. And what we gathered was that he was not even eating frequently enough. That is what we gathered, and it was people have to rally around to try and cheer him up. It was at this moment we were made to understand that the Deji of Akure now brokered that, because these are two very very good friends. They've come a long way, and they have in fact they have tremendous respect for themselves, for one another. And I think the Deji of Akure, sensing the danger health wise for the Oni, had to broker this. I think he only God knows how he was able to do this, to corner Queen Naomi and make that this conversation between her and Oni possible. Don't forget that what Queen Naomi did was to go incommunicado. Since she left Akure, she went incommunicado. All through the time she was in Dubai, we understand that it's just the family, the very, very close family members, especially the uncle and one or two people that had access to her. And the reason was for her to, be able to, have some sanity. She too has gone through much stress. So I think the family agree that she should really go incommunicado. So apparently that was when the Oni was pursuing her all over the place to no avail. Okay, so the sharing news is that last, courtesy of the Deji of Akure, the Oni has been able to speak to Queen Naomi, and some of the things they discussed, it was a brief one, but what we gathered is that Oni made the best use of that short time. And what did he do? From what we gathered, he immediately apologized to Queen Naomi for all the pains he has caused her, especially this very last time that that drama happened at the palace, and Queen Naomi had to leave. So we were made to understand that he's sort of trying to reassure Queen Naomi. But the thing is, this for me, I'm not saying he's not saying the truth, but this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time. In fact, I've lost count of the number of times that Queen Naomi and the Ooni of Ife have been in these same exact situations in the past. And we hear him begging and begging and begging. And once he's forgiven, almost immediately he's back to his old ways. So, but the thing is, what was reported was that this time he begged, and after begging and begging, making promises upon promises. The man. One good thing with him, I must say, is that the man they make promises. So he can make promises, sha. For those of you who are keen followers of Queen, I'm sure you guys are conversant with this man by now. When it comes to making promises, give it to him. I tell you, give it to him. Okay. So once again, he's been making those promises upon promises. But what I think is instructive here is that this time He did not just make promises. He actually told the Deji of Akure to corroborate most of those promises that he's making. That, in fact, almost like using the Deji of Akure as collateral for these promises, if there's anything like that. Okay, so we are made to understand that it was a short conversation between the Oni and Queen Naomi, and what we understand was that thereafter, the Oni suddenly became, suddenly became lively again. And I think the reason for this is, when you offend someone who has done nothing to you, and that was the case here. Queen Naomi has done nothing to this man. She has done nothing. All she did was to offer her purity, her humility, her whole self as an individual to this man. And what did she get in return? You already know. I don't want to go into all that again. Okay, so I think that the Oni, uh, because his conscience probably must have been uh, pricking him, so he decided that this time he wants to have peace within himself. He wants to clear his conscience. I think he did that because we are told that immediately after this conversation with Queen Naomi, he suddenly bounced back to life. He started, eating well. He started, coming out freely, and just it was just his normal, jovial, happy self again. And I think this is also good for him. And I think and hope that he has learned one or two lessons from this. Me, I'm not even thinking of both of them coming together as husband and wife anymore, but they can be best of friends. No qualms about that. After all, there are a lot of couples who have irreconcilable differences in their marriages, and they go their separate ways, and they still communicate. And I mean, you don't have to be an enemy of your ex or your husband, even though you guys are not living under the same roof anymore. And it's even more important when the couple has a child or two. Okay, in this case, they don't just have a child, they have a prince, an apparent a heir apparent to the kingdom someday. Okay, the first son of the Ooni of Ife, the almighty, powerful Ooni of Ife, the spiritual leader of Yoruba, the entire Yoruba race. Okay, that's a lot. So this is the woman we are talking about. So for me, I'm happy that Queen Naomi was able to give that audience. He was able to allow him talk to her, and at least it's good to ventilate your anger, and there's also a time to maybe forgive. But when I say forgive here, I'm not saying Queen Naomi should forgive and move back to the palace. No, no, no. I wouldn't support that. They should go all out, pursue the legal process. I understand that the process has already started, like I reported in one of our stories. So whatever it is a good one. I'm happy that Yone is bouncing back again, and I give kudos to the Deji of Akure. He has been a good friend to this man. And I think other friends should learn from this. When your friend is down there, you must do everything to make them stand up again. So kudos to the Deji of Akure once again. And I want to appreciate Queen Naomi for being the woman she is, calm, peaceful woman all the time. So this is what we had at this time. And we felt like, okay, we have to bring this to you almost immediately. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And thank you most importantly for subscribing. God bless you. Bye bye.